What's up, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. We are going to be going over the CEO of Respawn's apology. We're also going to be going over the devs' reply, basically trolling their own community, treating their player base as if they were trolls themselves. I think that's the biggest dishonesty that we can learn from this whole controversy. And it's really sad that a CEO and developers can't separate a troll from just people in general. You'll take note that I said people and not gamers or players, because anyone who's been on the internet since it became in public to the public, and the ability for people like us to interact with other people on the internet existed, there's always been trolls. Developers, people like Anita Sarkeesian, celebrities, be they sports or movie stars, singers, writers, they're not the only ones that have gotten death threats on the internet. Everyone who's been on the internet has had to deal with a troll at one point or another, and it's the most common thing that they do. So why don't we just show you the hypocrisy of the CEO's own open-ended apology. And the reason why I decided to create this video is because it needs to be said. Because there is a lot of discord amongst gamers from his own tweet. I see why the apology from a business standpoint, but honestly, those asshats deserved it. Don't apologize for your employees standing up for themselves against awful people. Once again, this is not only the CEO, but the developers and, of course, some of their fan base who cannot separate a troll from other people.
Why isn't it in the fucking game without a pre-order? You blind? Dude, fucking fanboyism.
Microtransactions and
DRM.
Downloadable content.
So to do a quick recap of the original controversy, there were 24 items in the Iron Crown event that were locked away behind $7 loot boxes. So you had to purchase loot boxes and hope that you got all 24. Once you got all 24, you then had the honor and the privilege of spending $35 to buy the main item in the event. This, of course, raised a lot of concerns with their player base, and they took to Reddit to voice their thoughts and concerns on this subject, along with, yes, of course, trolls. So then they decided to come up with this update, and they went from gouging their player base to basically telling their player base to fuck off. They took 12 of the items in the 24, and they're like, you can now purchase them at $18 a piece. Well, the other 12 items are still locked away in the $7 loot boxes. Once you've managed to do that, you still have the honor and the privilege of spending $35 to unlock the official main item itself. Once again, they completely ignored the controversy and the concerns that their player base had with this whole Iron Crown event. That then, of course, led to more thoughts and concerns, and even trolls taking to their Reddit, which then, of course, led to Drew, for example, who DKO5 is, which, real quickly, if you actually go to this, you look at the bottom, you'll notice that something's missing. That would be Drew McCoy, Respawn Entertainment. Now, why he decided to have his name removed from it, I don't know. People already know that your name was on it, and now you just look, well, you look like you don't have a lot of balls right now because your name is taken off. Have some kind of honesty or integrity and keep your name there, all right? Anyway, back to the subject at hand. The one thing that you'll take note, and you can actually watch Yong Ye, that's how I'm pronouncing the last part of his YouTube username or his name in general, his video. And every time the developers or the Reddit moderator was responding to somebody, with the exception of like one person, which happened to be Drew, nobody was being hostile. Literally, we have team members responding to regular players as if they are the ones that were trolling the Reddit account. This then, of course, leads us to, I mean, look at this. Here we have him referring to players as asshats to developers, lumping them all together. Apparently, Drew hasn't heard of this thing called a troll. He also refers to any player that plays the game but doesn't spend any money as a freeloader. Apparently, Drew doesn't even understand the definition of a freeloader. Is a person who takes advantage of others' generosity without giving anything in return. So let me give you an example here. If Drew were to loan his car to a friend and that friend gave the car back and didn't put any gas in it, that would be, by definition, a freeloader. But when you create a product or service that is free, you can't call your user base, your customers, freeloaders if they never choose to buy anything in your game. Why? Because you're the one that made it free. It's not the same thing. So, then this, of course, then led to the CEO, Vince, of Respawn, making an open-ended apology. On Friday, we gave Apex fans an update on how we were changing the Iron Crown event. Some of the team then joined a discussion with our community on Reddit, and things got to a pretty bad place. Some of our folks crossed a line with their comments, but it goes beyond that. And that's not how we want Respawn to be represented. I apologize to any of our fans that were offended. I will always stand behind the team here at Respawn and support them on speaking out against some of the toxic and nasty comments being directed at them, including everything from death threats to comments aimed at their family and loved ones. Now, let's look at another word, because apparently Drew, Vince, and, of course, a variety of different players that are literally saying that it's okay to call gamers asshats and freeloaders, and that is this word right here, ladies and gentlemen. What is a troll? Trolling is defined as creating discord on the internet by starting quarrels or upsetting people by posting inflammatory or off-topic messages in an online community. You see, the biggest problem from this whole controversy is, number one, at no time did Respawn actually address the original problem about the Iron Crown controversy. In fact, they just made it worse. And when gamers weren't happy about it, as always, as found on the internet, you get a bunch of trolls that come in and it's easy for them to troll. And then we have people, game players, gamers, the developers, and the CEO who apparently can't separate trolls from regular people on the internet. And what makes the CEO's apology open and ended is exactly that. He basically is a hypocrite. He says one thing and then says it's okay for them to do it. He basically apologizes for them for doing what they did. But then he also goes and states it's okay for them to actually respond in that manner when it's, actual people doing it. But as we all know on the internet, you do not feed trolls in any way. You don't address them. Yeah, your developers are getting death threats and their family. Welcome to the fucking club, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone on the internet at one point or another has got a death threat from some random person on the internet. It happens to everybody. From celebrities to people like Anita Sarkeesian, who ironically, Anita Sarkeesian does the exact same thing. She makes the same mistake that the developers and the CEO of Respawn did. When they receive a death threat, or she receives a death threat, she automatically assumes and lumps it with gamers. She herself cannot separate a troll from the actual group of a gamer, or just people in general. And that's what makes this whole controversy completely stupid. And that's why his apology means absolutely nothing, because it's hypocritical. On Friday, we gave Apex fans an update on how we were changing the Iron Crown event. Some of the team then joined in trolling our community on Reddit, and things got to a pretty bad place. some of our folks crossed the line with their comments, and that's not how we want Respawn to be represented. I apologize for our teammates treating our player base as if they are the same people who are trolling our community with threats and death threats and vitriol within of itself. We understand that our regular player base is not the same as these trolls who have no life and are truly the asshats. I want to apologize personally for my teammates becoming angry and aggressive with our normal and regular player base. And I hope that they themselves will get on their own social media account and as well give their own apology. Because it's not something that we should be doing. We should not be feeding the trolls, and we should be treating our community with better respect and integrity. That was 1,000,000 times better than that apology, whatever. Number one, I addressed the fact that we're dealing with trolls, not the regular player base. Number two, I also addressed the very fact that literally my own teammates were acting like trolls themselves. And then number three, I state that that's not going to be condoned in any way. Because I understand that all of these threats and useless comments come from trolls, not the regular player base. I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the bullshit and the open-ended apologies of CEOs, and maybe he was just having an off day, I'll give him that. It just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.